So what I'm doing here is cutting out leaves. I'm using a leaf pot pattern for my rose, French Rose Quilt. So what I want to do is I want to have a rag effect, so I'm not going to cut I'm not going to sew them together. Purposely making them so they look like they're going to be ragged. Maybe. Well, today is Thursday, and so I thought maybe I could make some of these. Maybe I should go this way. I don't know. Seems like a tight fit. I can get it in there at all. Maybe, but then my points are off, so I'll just save that for a rainy day, right? Alright, so I got those leaves done. Don't think I need to cut any more right now. I really enjoy doing quilts. I just don't enjoy cutting. I like the sewing part, and I like the creating it, but when it comes to cutting, I just don't particularly like cutting. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here I have my Dusty Rose, French Rose Quilt. Now, what I've been thinking is maybe putting in some extra flowers. So these might just be sewed down. I'm still kind of designing this, how I'm going to put it on. Maybe put those there, and maybe put a leaf here. Here, and then so these will be sewed down on it, and then this will be like a two-dimensional. I think that's pretty cute. So let's get some pins, pin it on, and take it to the sewing machine. Oop, you're not seeing me, are you? There I am. Okay. So I gotta lower you again. Unless I take it way out there. Now I have many projects going on in this room. So right here I'm doing a collage, and it's going to be an eagle. And my sewing machine, all the, I have the French Rose fabrics over here. I have a quilt over there that needs to be quilted. I have my kimono quilt that's not done. I have a little baby quilt that I started, my travel quilt that I work on. So there is quite a bit of things going on in here, as you can see. And I find that if I put it away, then I can't find it, so I just leave them out. And over here, I'll show you. is my latest machine, and I have not figured out how it works yet. So I need to take that time this weekend to work on that. So I'm just gonna sew these flowers. I'm gonna sew them on, but right now I'm gonna pin it on, like so. And then also I'll pin on all my leaves, like so. Now I don't have a dusty rose. I don't believe. I do not have dusty rose thread, so I'm going to have to just use gray. It's pretty neutral. Alright, so if I take this off like that and take this over to the sewing machine and sew it down, and then all I have to do is take this back here, and what I'm going to do is I am just going to take it to the machine and sew it all the way around to this, and that'll be done, and then we will continue on. So let me do that. So I'm going to start with the leaf. It's going to go all the way around, sew them all on. Okay. Okay, let's boogie. I'm gonna make my stitch a little smaller. So I'm just gonna sew it all the way around. Like so. I'm gonna turn it this way. Got my pin. Machine. Just use this old-fashioned one. All right, so now I'm at the flower. So I'm just going to go around the flower. So usually when I make my quilts, I'm kind of like, I make them from the seat of my pants. I don't know what I'm doing until I get it laid out, and things change. So I try drawing them out, kind of have some kind of an idea, have it in my mind, like I've been chewing on it for a couple months. But I'm the type of person that will look at other people's or other designs and take it from there. I'm not, I don't really go by pattern so much. I mean, I'll see a pattern or a layout that I like, and I'll possibly go that way, but I have a tendency of doing my own thing, put it that way. Okay, so this leaf needs to be sewed down a little bit more. Let me bring you in a little closer if I can. So you don't feel like you're being left out. So then I have this center flower here to put in. So I think what I had done was I turned it that way, but I think I might go this way because it's better contrast. I like contrast. And I think I'm just going to take this out for a minute. Put that there. And I am just going to sew around in a circle. Actually, I could just probably sew these both down in a circle, like so. I think I'll do that. And then I forget that step. Now this over here, you can see it, is paint. I painted that. It's a stencil, looks like lace. I like to play around with different art mediums, see how they stand up to quilting. Like this one quilt I made, I used ink pencils to make flowers. Lock that in. Okay, so that one's done. That was quick. Alright, so let's do these two leaves here. Let's see. When I'm working on things, I move everything around. Hard time finding where all of them go. Alright, so So what I'm thinking of doing, and I just came a thought, just came to my mind. Thursday, Dusty Rose Day. So I'm only going to be working on this quilt on Thursdays. And on Tuesday, I'm going to be working on the log cabin quilt. That's the butterfly quilt. So look forward to see that. And this one as well. That other one I put out on Thursday was kind of long. My app that I use for recording was not working in my favor again. So I'm using a new app today. We'll see how that one goes. Okay, and then we'll just finish off this here. All right, one more leaf. You can take these out. Look, and I have one more flower. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and clip this. I'm going to clip the areas I can clip, so it'll rag out, just like this is ragged out. And I washed this, I clipped it and I washed it, so it's just rags out. Everything is gonna be ragged out on this quilt. And this will go right there. See, the cool thing about making quilts, each quilt is different. I'm not, no, I don't think anybody's made a quilt like this before, with my particular flower, my design. So we're all individual and we all make things differently. So now I'm going to move it over here and sew this on. Go from there. Doing circles is kind of hard with the sewing machine. Even if I'm following a pattern, it's still difficult. I don't know why. Everybody has their own talents, I guess. Okay, so now we have this part. Okay, let me show you. Looks like, all right, now we're going to add this to it, this flower. And I'm going to pin her down, I think. Let's see. I don't know if I need to really pin her down. I think I'm just going to go in and sew her down. Just to anchor her in there. I think of flowers as girls. Some people call them he's. I don't know why. All right, what was that? Sometimes I freak myself out. Sometimes I do. No pins, so I don't know what that was. I think I need to get a new plate for my sewing machine. We have it. All right, so here's the first applique and flowers. Now, like I said, I was going to go in and trim. I'm gonna clip like this all the way around these because I want them to rag up. So I want them to be more of a, two-dimensional instead of just being flat. So it gives it more character, more life, I guess you could say. This can be done the same way. This can be done that way. You don't always have to be roses on here. It could just be other types of flowers. Further. This can be ragged. So rag kind of reminds me of chenille. Remember back in the 50s and the 60s? You'd get chenille bedspreads or chenille rugs or chenille, everything was made from chenille. And it was really nice because it was cotton. And chenille robes, I remember, just like the fad. And it was all cotton. And that's basically, they were kind of ragged. Because they had that little bumpy stuff on top, right? Now, maybe it was done in a different process, and maybe some of you maybe worked in a factory or something where they made those, and maybe I'm totally wrong, and if I am, give me a holler and let me know. If leave it in the comments if I'm wrong about how they came up with chenille. I'm thinking it was ragged. I'm thinking it was maybe like pom-poms or something. How they would make pom-poms like out of yarn or something, and they ragged it. I'm not for sure. But like I said, if you know about it, share it with me, because I could be absolutely wrong. how they made it. So, I have noticed, looking at my, all my views, okay, so my subscribers are up to 262. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And also, I was looking at people that are unsubscribed. You know it's free. Some people will say, oh, well, I'm not really into that. I'm just watching it with my wife who's really into it. Well, you can still subscribe. Doesn't mean you're dedicated to it, right? It's free. I watch a lot of things and I subscribe to, like, I watched that one where the guy's rebuilding the chateau. I'm not into bricks. I don't know how to do any kind of building with wood. But I subscribe because it's very interesting. It's interesting for one thing, because it helps him with his YouTube station, his channel. And so, if you want to help me on my channel, that would be awesome. Okay, so I've clipped everything around. Now, so the next step is going to be adding the backing and what do I want? Batting. So we're gonna do these individually. So it's gonna be batting and then backing, and then we're gonna do a little bit of quilting on it, and then we're going to have just layers. I don't know how many layers we're gonna have, but instead of having your seams go this way, they're gonna go this way. So I need to cut this now that I look at it, because that will not rag out. That is not, that looks like it's the end of the bolt or something. I don't know. Oh yes, it will. I was wrong. Alright, so that's the first step. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share. Share is important. All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.